Benjamin sat alone at the corner table of the orbital station's dining hall, staring at the two meal trays before him. One was his, a modest portion of synthetic protein and reconstituted vegetables. The other had been Kate's. His daughter had died 3 months ago. The doctors said it was quick. A hull breach in Sector 7, where she'd been working as a junior engineer, 23 years old, brilliant and gone in the space of a heartbeat. Benjamin had kept her meal reservation out of habit or perhaps hope, or maybe just because canceling it felt too final. He picked at his food, the dining hall's artificial gravity making everything feel heavier than it should. "Excuse me." The voice was like wind through crystal, melodic, alien, and achingly polite. Benjamin looked up. She was Draknari, one of the dragon people from the Scorching Rim. Her scales shimmered iridescent purple in the station's fluorescent lighting, and her wings were folded tight against her back to avoid bumping other diners. In her arms, she cradled a small hatchling whose scales were barely formed, soft and translucent like morning mist. "My child is hungry," she said, her golden eyes meeting his with desperate dignity. "May we stay? I have credits, but all tables are taken, and the little one cannot wait much longer." Benjamin's throat tightened. Every table was occupied except for Kate's empty seat. "Please," he managed, gesturing to the chair. "Sit." The Draknari mother's relief was palpable. She settled gracefully into the seat, adjusting her wings, and immediately began breaking off pieces of thermal root from her tray, cooling them with her breath before offering them to the hatchling. Benjamin watched, transfixed. The baby dragon made small chirping sounds, its tiny claws grasping at the food with uncoordinated eagerness. "Thank you," the mother said softly. "I am Thesera. This is Miktith." "Benjamin," he replied. "And that was my daughter's seat." He didn't know why he said it. The words just came. Thesera's feeding motions paused. Her pupils dilated, a Draknari expression of sorrow that Benjamin had learned during his years on the station. "Was?" she whispered. 3 months ago. Hull breach." The silence stretched between them, filled only by Miktith's contented eating sounds. "My mate died too," Thesera finally said. 6 months passed. His ship was caught in a solar flare during a rescue mission. He saved 43 miners, humans mostly. She stroked her hatchling's head with one elegant claw. Miktith never met him. Benjamin felt something crack in his chest, not breaking but opening. Kate would have been an aunt soon, he heard himself say. Her brother, my son, he and his wife are expecting. I keep thinking she'll never meet the baby, and the baby will never know her. Thesera nodded slowly. Humans have a saying, yes? It takes a village. Draknari believed this too. A hatchling needs many voices, many stories. Perhaps... She hesitated, then continued with careful hope. Perhaps your grandchild will know Kate through your stories, and perhaps Miktith will know his father through mine. Benjamin looked at the hatchling, now drowsy and satisfied, its small head resting against Thesera's chest. He thought of Kate at that age, tiny, perfect, demanding. He thought of the grandchild he'd never met. Would you? Benjamin swallowed hard. Would you like to hear about Kate? Thesera's eyes brightened, literal sparks dancing in their depths, a Draknari smile. Yes. And perhaps you would hear of Corthan. He was ridiculous brave and sang terribly off-key. Benjamin laughed, actually laughed for the first time in months. Kate couldn't sing either. Sounded like a dying air compressor, but she'd belt out songs anyway. They talked through the meal. Benjamin learned that Corthan had loved human poetry, especially the old Earth poets, Keats, Dickinson, Neruda. Thesera learned that Kate had been obsessed with Draknari engineering, had written her thesis on incorporating crystalline matrices into human technology. She studied my people's work? Thesera asked, wonder in her voice. Admired it, Benjamin corrected. She said Draknari engineers understood that technology should sing. Sing, Thesera repeated, and now there were tears in her eyes, liquid silver against purple scales. Corthan said humans taught him that courage was not the absence of fear, but action despite it. The dining hall's evening cycle began, lights dimming to simulate nightfall. Around them, dozens of species finished their meals. Garthics with their 6 arms, the floating Luminara, a group of Centauran traders arguing cheerfully over dessert. Miktith had fallen asleep, snoring tiny puffs of smoke. I come here every evening, Benjamin said quietly. Same time, same table. If you need a place to sit. If Mictith needs to eat, we have nowhere to go, Thesara admitted. Corthan's family disowned me for mating outside our clan. I have work, but it's lonely. So lonely. Benjamin reached across the table, across Kate's empty space, and placed his hand near Thesara's claw. Not touching, not quite, but close. My son lives 2 sectors away, he said. His wife makes terrible jokes. The baby's due in 4 months. If you'd like, you could meet them. Be part of a village? Thesara finished. A village, Benjamin agreed. She extended her claw and he took it. The scales were warm, like sun-heated stone, and her grip was gentle despite the obvious strength in those talons. Kate would have liked you, Benjamin said. She always said the best engineering required different perspectives working together. Corthan would have liked you too, Thesara replied. He believed humans had the greatest gift of all species, the ability to keep loving even after their hearts were broken. Mictith stirred, mumbled something in baby Dreknari, and settled deeper into sleep. Same time tomorrow? Benjamin asked. Yes, Thesara said. And perhaps you could tell me more about Kate's work? I'm an engineer too. I would like to know her ideas. I'd like that. And maybe you could teach me some Dreknari lullabies? For my grandchild. They sat together as the station rotated through artificial night. 2 grieving parents at a table set for one more than they had, but exactly enough for what they needed. Above them, through the viewport, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance, indifferent, beautiful, and witnessed by a universe learning slowly that family was not defined by species or blood, but by who chose to sit together when the chairs felt too empty and the silence too loud. Benjamin and Thesara chose each other. And that was humanity's true gift. Not weapons or speed or cunning, but the stubborn, fierce, illogical decision to love again despite every reason not to, and to teach the galaxy that grief shared was grief lessened, and joy shared was joy multiplied. In a cold universe they made warmth, together.